China's currency, the Renminbi, has fallen to its lowest level against the US dollar in 15 years. It comes as China's President Xi Jinping stacked his top political body with loyalists at the recently concluded Chinese Communist Party Congress. That's prompted fresh concerns China will be more driven by ideology, meaning a less welcoming environment for foreign businesses and investors. Shares in China's biggest tech firms have also dropped significantly since the end of the party congress. To find out more about concerns over Chinese currency and economy, our reporter James Chater spoke to Vishnu Varathan, Head of Economics and Strategy for Asia at Mizuho Bank in Singapore.
Explain what we've seen happen to the Chinese currency since the end of the Chinese Communist Party Congress, and why is this important?
At the risk of oversimplifying, it appears that the Chinese currency and broader Chinese asset markets have sold off, and presumably this reflects two things. One is perhaps a certain degree of uncertainty around what to anticipate in terms of policy. And in particular, a pivot to pro-growth policies. But there is a second layer to this. The second layer perhaps reflects that in aggregate, of course, the details and the nuances matter, but in aggregate, there is a sense that the policy making mechanism around this transition is perhaps going to be focused more on geopolitics and in terms of party ideologies, rather than pragmatic economic growth concerns.
So how much of what we've seen is markets simply doing what they do, and how much of it is really driven by concerns about the direction of China's government after the Party Congress?
I think we can quite safely say that there is a certain degree of expectations mismatch here. And I think the most discernible one is around growth. And we can get into it at more granular levels. I think COVID-0 policies not being unambiguously rolled back, or at least having a plan around the exit, that perhaps was the first knee-jerk, and that expectation not being met, probably through the first blow at markets. But that said, the politics around this has also given rise to significant concerns, if not consternation, around where China is headed. The two major branches of concern, if one must, has got to do with echo chamber type of policy making risks. The second branch, if you must, has got to do with both the geopolitical aspect of doubling down, hence increasing risks as the security objectives consume more of the resources.
China's economy is already under pressure from COVID lockdowns, US export controls, and now this pressure on the currency. Are you pessimistic on China's economy going forward?
I think perhaps the right way for me to answer this is to reference it to my frame of mind, say 12 months ago. So am I more pessimistic? Certainly a lot more pessimistic. I'll be the first to admit, sometimes markets are hard to please. And there are certain aspects of it that could be transactional. In this case, however, there are justifiable concerns, and I think we can distill down these concerns to the opacity around policy. I think whether it is the markets or bona fide long-term investors, the inability to wrap their heads around the policy intent and path does give rise to, I think, justifiable questions, and hence the restraint in any optimism around the plans being made.